Hey everybody, this is Cole here to ask you a quick favor. If you're going to be doing any shopping on Amazon.com, please consider using our affiliate link. Go to Duckfeed.tv/tipjar in order to find a link that takes you to the very same Amazon, except we get a little kickback, and that goes a long way towards covering our expenses. Once again, that is Duckfeed.tv/tipjar. Thank you.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat. It is a vile podcast. A vile Bloodborne
some would
podcast.
say.
Yes. It is born of dregs.
But this week we are reading your responses to Forsaken Castle Cainhurst, and there was so much response that I cut out the follow-up and I cut out the just fun, and we're going to save that for a little bit later because people have a lot to say about this.
Of course they do. As we enumerated, it's one of the finest areas in the game.
Mm-hmm. Corey couldn't stick around for us, but we thank him for appearing on the main episode. Go back and listen to that, and also listen to the Gamers with Jobs conference call.
Yeah, it's a good community, and those guys are good dudes.
Yeah,
for sure. I'll get started real quick with Robin. Robin says via Facebook, I sure as hell didn't feel like an honored guest when I arrived at the castle, that's for sure. That's the last time I accepted an invitation for dinner from an empty, spooky carriage. Because that boss seriously wrecked my shit while I was trying to take him down using the Tonitrus. Wait, why is that hard for me to say?
I don't know.
Tonitrus. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tonitrus was one of the few weapons I found that really worked against him.
He has really insane lightning resist, I think.
Huh.
I think that he has more or less like elemental resist of most things.
Oh, well.
I didn't end up, I get like, there's somebody who mentioned it on Facebook too, and I ended up being in this, like my arc with the Tonitrus was like, I didn't use it, and then I used it and got way into it, and then I got bored with the moveset.
Yeah.
Like, so I've kind of stopped using it. And I found that like, it's actually, other than like, I need to bring it back for Abritus because Abritus is really weak to lightning, but like, for the most part, I haven't missed it that much.
Yeah. Like
it just plays into that, like, Bloodborne, there not being that much difference between characters, because my damage output with items or with different weapons is not that different.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I put all the same kind of blood gems on something, it ends up being more or less the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well. Charles writes in via Facebook saying, I hate those flea ladies at the start. They have to be one of the hardest enemies in the game. The rest of the level was awesome, and I really loved how it felt like you were discovering secrets throughout the castle, even though that's the way you needed to go. The boss was not much of a challenge for my threaded cane, and I took him out quickly. Well, la-di-da. Actually, I think all of us were fine with him.
It took me a lot of tries the first time because I didn't do visceral attacks.
Yeah.
But then on subsequent tries, it took me a couple, but not too many. Castle full of secrets. Like, sign me up for that. If I was ever a quadrillionaire, I would buy a castle and fill it with fucking secrets.
It is more expensive than you would think to install a rotating bookcase.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
I would just have Murphy beds. That'll be my equivalent of secrets.
That's my favorite Venture Brothers gag, actually, when Hank gets hopped up on caffeine and just installs Murphy beds around the compound.
That's the secret that you can install in your home, even though Murphy beds are more expensive than you think too.
Yep.
I actually looked when I was living alone. I looked at the price of them because I knew I was going to have a small place, and Murphy beds are really expensive.
Yeah,
sadly enough. That's a goddamn shame.
We were pricing out the rotating bookcase at work, actually, when we were really gung-ho about getting our new office space. We're like, you know what, let's just get the walls painted first.
Yeah. Kyle says via Facebook, the isolated experience with looping shortcuts reminds me of the Painted World from Dark Souls 1. I love it. Is this our first Banshee since the New Londo ruins? In regard to Cainhurst, two aspects really impressed me. The ambushes were super effective. Gargoyles/statues hiding in plain sight, while others were significantly above the hero just out of view. Did anyone else notice that one gargoyle with red eyes on the first rooftop of the library? What's up with that? The level managed to take us through the courtyard, foyer, loft, balconies, keep, parapet walk, and fantasy throne room, concluding with the one and only illusory wall of Bloodborne. It withholds the From Software design intent of allowing the player to view numerous places in the environment which you will ultimately traverse. This is true of other areas of Bloodborne. Just for me, this area was this area was the ideal size. Forsaken Castle Cainhurst is the area I enjoyed the most too, Gary. And Cole. Cole also enjoyed it the most.
Yes.
But I must have been talking to Kyle specifically.
There are illusory walls in the Chalice dungeons, but I do not begrudge somebody not knowing that.
Yeah, who gives it? Like, you had to just punch every fucking wall. And they're like, as the season gets just my season goes on, I just get more and more mad at Chalice dungeons. Like, I was
because they're fucking looming over us. Come on, man.
Yeah, exactly. It's they're near. It's in Facebook, and I was just like, oh, if you think of them as a bonus, they're pretty good. And now that it's like,
not that you have to. It's not a bonus. It's a fucking obligation. We have to.
Now they make me mad. Previously they didn't. So and as a related note, I'll be looking for Chalice buddies to stave off boredom during Chalice Town when we get to that point.
Sean writes in via contact saying, I'm looking forward to hearing you guys talk about Cainhurst because from what you've said so far, you liked it a lot more than I did. I like the lore significance of the place being somewhere that the old ones don't seem connected to, and I love the resolution of Alfred's questline, but the castle felt very fragmented in a way that, say, the Upper Cathedral did not. Having to run around on the outside of the castle to get to various places is cool, but it didn't help it feel like a castle. I'm also not a big fan of Martyr Logarius's boss fight. Something about his patterns kept me from ever being able to dodge his second form effectively, and I've never beaten him solo. The twist of finding his crown and putting it on to find the Vile Blood Queen is a nice reward, but I wish the crown did anything else. I hate to sound like a sourpuss, but it's no Painted World.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we enumerated the reasons that we disagree. With it, which is fine. I also wish the crown did other stuff.
Me too.
That would have been really cool.
It's like the Whispering Ring a little bit, like
or the priest eye or whatever, which would have been really neat. And I also would agree that it doesn't feel so much like a castle. Like the Souls games, like Boletaria 1-1 is like the most castle feeling castle in the history of the games, and they've never done that quite as well. If you're looking for pure castleness. Like this could also be a Resident Evil style mansion, or a Castlevania style manor at many points,
right?
But I know if this is Sean, Lore Hunter Sean, he's with me about the Nightmare Frontier, so we'll be on the same page there at least.
Yeah, we're gonna go from love to hate right quick.
Yep.
And yes, it is that Sean. So
yes, awesome. Derek says via contact, is the blood-sucking / blood-licking beast in the starting area the most deadly enemy in the game? I went back before finishing the game, and these things could still remove my health bar at will, dodge all of my attacks, and are a bit death resilient. I've yet to kill one, and I just ended up holding the get the fuck out button to running through the field. I got quite the vampire vibe from this place, which seemed tame considering all the consuming blood everyone else had been doing up to this point. Finally, I'd like to say I don't think the summons is why you came to Yharnam, because the letter isn't there at the start. I don't want to grasp at straws in the other direction, but wouldn't it make just as much sense for the letter addressing whoever is reading it and being sent to a Yosefka? Why would she send a letter to her enemy would be a valid question, but isn't her goal just not to be trapped in the throne room alive? She has one for Alfred, or does she? Why can't he use the already open letter? It seems to draw conclusions. It seems to draw solid conclusions. Thoughts? Just to clarify that, I think I understand what Derek means. Is why don't we think the letter just kind of looks like it's to whoever is reading it?
Yeah.
Is his point. I just feel like that adds like a magic letter to the mix that doesn't need to be there. Like it's not there when you first wake up, but it very well could have been in like that guy's jacket who gives you the blood transfusion, or in Yosefka's pocket and just got sat there. Like a letter moving from a pocket to a counter seems like it adds less unlikeliness to the world than a letter that magically shows whoever's name is reading it.
Right. And I think it's a valid question to say, like, oh, why can't you just show Alfred yours and say, I totally found her? I think that it's more of just like a question of flagging than anything really. Or it's the fact that you have to have one of these letters.
I think you have to have one. Yeah, I think it summons and the unopened one is like just like a blank one. Like it will just summon whoever, but the one for you just works for you.
Yeah. because it was sent, right?
Yeah.
Like it was one that was sent out. Yeah, like the like adding a magic letter to the mix. I think that accounts for why I'm a little bit wary about a lot of the speculation about some stuff in Bloodborne, and even about this area. We had one response which was very exhaustive in kind of laying out a case for why the true Foulblood Queen was actually Yharnam. And why what's his name? Lawrence defected, and the blood that he took to Cainhurst was actually Yharnam herself, and a bunch of that stuff. And most of that, and also the kind of justification for why Cainhurst is filled with Pthumerians and nobody really understood, had to do with the fact that, well, there's a crown of illusions, and so they might have just been hiding their true nature from it. I think that's trickery at way too big of a scale for me to like be like, eh.
Yeah, I read something similar to that too, online, and you get down to a level of like headcanon with shit, and we all choose the interpretation down to a certain level that we like. Like there's certain things that are inarguable, and then you choose the things you like, and I don't like that.
Yeah.
Just in the end, and nothing personal against the person who did the argument for it. It just doesn't sound as cool to me. Like that it just sounds kind of lame. And I like it better as this kind of, even if it's more connected in that it's another group just kind of fucking up like their take on what they're doing with blood. I like that more than it being tied into Lawrence and the like.
Yeah.
In that way.
Yep.
I guess. And it's fine if people disagree too. It just like, and I could also change my mind. Like it's possible something would convince me. Maybe the DLC will underline some of the shit.
Yeah.
But right now I'm not super into that.
I've read some good points in that, and it feels good, except that there are like just a lot of leaps that are taken that I'm not quite as ready to take.
Yeah. Crown of Illusions, just hiding them from the outside world seems like a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paul writes in via Facebook saying, I loved Cainhurst. In hindsight, it stands out in my mind better than any other area. Part of that has to do with the wintry setting. The other reason, Martyr Logarius. This fucko was my Waterloo. Time and again, I crashed against his magic, was knocked off the roof, or underestimated his speed. It's also the first place where I met summons who had as tough of a time as me. I ran dry on Madman's knowledge here. Some fought well, some fought poorly. Some stood nude on the periphery, pointing at the boss, adorned only in their ill-gotten crown. Fuck those people. Come on.
That's some Solaire level shit. Solaire lives. Finally, he's back.
Can you provide some context for Solaire?
Oh, Solaire was my first Sunbro character I made in Dark Souls 1, which was just the fattest character I made. I had him kill Solaire and steal his armor, and then got people to summon me for the gargoyles fight, and stood on the side and did the cheer emote. It's like tailgating Solaire, who I dubbed Swolaire. And there are pictures on our Facebook page that are really old, but there's a stunt. I like the idea of stunt. Like I can't be mad at when that kind of thing happens.
I know, yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Once you realize what they're doing, you're just kind of like, okay, well, I'm going to die again, but this brought a little bit of magic and whimsy to my life that otherwise wouldn't have been there.
I was going to tell this story in the Upper Cathedral Ward thing, but I was trying to summon for Abritus, and I summoned somebody, and they gave me the come here motion and went to the elevator to go back up. And I followed them, and they stepped on the elevator in a way that I kept running and fell in the pit under the elevator, which was my own damn fault. But like I wasn't expecting. I was like, oh, this guy's going to show me something cool, or he just wants me to go. Like I'll do it. Like I summoned him, like saying, I'll see what happens. And he just tricked me, which was very, very funny. I was happy about that.
It's pretty good.
Steven says via Facebook, I somehow missed this area on my first 2 runs through of the game, but when I finally slowed down to smell the roses my 3rd time through, I found the back entrance to Yosefka's clinic, and consequently a summons addressed to me. So after taking an undead horse and chariot ride, fighting my way through a haunted castle covered in snow, and slaying the martyr, I found myself before the Queen of the Vilebloods, and in possession of another summons. And this is when I remembered my good friend Alfred. I returned to him excitedly, handed over the summons, thinking that I might unlock another secret boss fight with the Queen, and that I would help Alfred. That's a cool idea. I didn't think about that. The sight I came back to is still the most affecting moment in the game for me. The game had not shied away from being violent, but seeing the flesh and blood smeared all over the throne and the wheel in Alfred's hand, along with his maniacal laughter and rambling, I was stunned and legitimately bothered by what was before me. I'm sure it didn't help that his helmet gave me flashbacks to Pyramid Head as well.
And like Pyramid Head's helmet, that is meant to evoke Executioner. Like that is that has some historical roots.
Mm-hmm.
Like that design.
Yeah, so it's like the opposite. Like it's like they're both using the same source material.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to go on a horse and buggy ride.
Right. Yep.
I do.
Somebody cut that cutscene together with that song.
Oh man, it's hard to find those videos actually. Like it's weird on YouTube. I was looking for some Casey Tatum stuff.
If you don't have the CD, the Tim and Eric's Awesome Songs, great job, great record, Awesome Songs or whatever it is. It was my favorite album the year it came out, and I listened to it more than, I'm not kidding, like I listened to it more than anything else.
That's good.
They're so good. Like you just like there's a one of my friends had this he like discreetly took some camera video footage of us both head bumping in unison to Pumpers Need to Pump in the car, and it's very funny because we're so into it. Like those songs work on both levels. Like
I'll believe you. Yeah.
No, Pumpers Need to Pump is so good. When one of my old coworkers kept having to pump breast milk, and then I made her a sign that showed the guy that said "Pumpers Need to Pump" for her to put on her door when she had to go squirt. Like,
can you please not call lactation squirting?
What? Yeah.
I mean, I understand that's what's happening. Huh. Kevin writes in via contact. When did I become the squeamish one?
Yeah.
Kevin writes in via contact saying, the Souls series has always had a weird effect on me. I didn't understand it when I finally got my hands on Demon Souls, or later when I played Dark Souls. I thought I had it figured out when I finished Bloodborne in March, but it wasn't until playing Cainhurst this week to keep up with the podcast that I truly understood. Surrounded by my fallen enemies in Cainhurst's enormous library, I wanted nothing more than to be able to pull one of the dusty books off of the shelves and read whatever it said. That's what these games do, that no other game has ever done as well. They fill me with a need to learn. As I write this, I'm watching a documentary on H.P. Lovecraft. Yesterday, I read a book on level design. Before that, I marathoned Vati's lore videos. I did similar deep dives after finishing the other Souls games. Sorry this wasn't more specifically related to Cainhurst, but I thought I'd share my aha moment with you now, as it happened here.
Yeah.
That's how I felt in Dukes. You know, I think I commented to that effect. Like, if this is stuff that will drive Big Hat Logan mad, I want to know what's there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that desire to learn, like, that is literally like, you know, I get more than most people out of Souls games, and not as a fan, but because we do the show, right? Mm-hmm. So like I've met people and get to do the show. Mm-hmm. But something I get out of Souls games that I think I share with Kevin and with a lot of people is that after I play, the moment where I'm like, okay, that was my run. Now let's find out everything I missed and everything everyone else thinks is my favorite moment of the game. Yeah. Like almost like it is just, it's such a fun feeling to be like, what are the cool, like things like the make contact Easter egg thing. Like I wouldn't have figured that out probably.
Nope.
And just reading about it just fills me with this like, you know, elation. that is just, it is this desire just to know about a thing, and the games support it. You know, it's not there for other things. It's the reason why there are lore videos for this. And there are a couple other series that do support it, but there aren't many and none that support it this well, I don't think.
Yeah. It's the afterburn, right? Like the actual act itself, but then like it carries you through, it heightens like everything about your mind. You think about it in your sleep. It's like this weird kind of like research version of the Tetris effect.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. It is super great.
Yeah. And
if that's the Lovecraft documentary that I think it is, that's really good.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to our Lovecraft episode so I can lecture you on how sad of a person he was. Because like that's the thing that I keep coming to in my like kind of pre-ramping up for this is just like I forgot how depressing he is as a person.
Yeah.
Like this, he is a sad guy.
Yeah.
Go back in time and tell him to eat.
This actually is the lore hunter Sean. The previous Sean was a false Sean.
Okay, like imposter.
Yep.
Imposter Sean Sefka.
Yes.
This is the real Sean. Hey, real Sean. The bulk of this area is fighting ghosts and gargoyles. The real Sean, if he's listening to this, was probably going insane between the point in which we said that and this Sean.
I know, right?
Yeah, so hopefully he had the patience before he fired off an email or whatever.
Fuck you guys. Find another guest for this area I hate.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you spell and pronounce your name the same way as another guy. So real Sean says, not the other Sean is real too.
Well, yeah.
There are degrees of realness. This Sean says, the bulk of this area is fighting ghosts and gargoyles. As you make your way to the top of a spooky castle where you fight an undead wizard to gain access to a vampire queen. Yes, we are still talking about Bloodborne, the cosmic horror game about alien gods. The best explanation of how different Cainhurst feels that I came up with is that it is one of the first areas created to test early concepts. While Cainhurst may not fit into the overall story or world of Bloodborne perfectly, I think the differences in environment and tone are big reasons why Cainhurst stands out as one of my favorite areas in Bloodborne, and is hands down my favorite optional area in the game. While the area isn't challenging on the whole, it's bookended by some really tough moments. The Bloodlickers who greet you are as tough as they are grotesque. Their bloated abdomens and how they hop about activates a flavor of body horror I haven't tasted since Dr. Smith in the 1998 Lost in Space movie. I have not seen that movie, but does he become a blood beast?
It's more upsetting than you would guess a PG-13 rated sci-fi movie would be. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to know, but I'm not going to watch that movie.
It's a bad movie.
Their bloated bellies and the queen's desire to give birth to a child of blood does not seem coincidental to me, so I cannot help but imagine the beastly form the forbidden Cainhurst blood has dressed them in is not some way a reflection of the actions and aspirations that made them this way. Finally, low motherfucking Garius. There's no way around it. This guy is a dick. I have died to Ligarius more times than any other boss in Bloodborne. His combination of speed and spellcasting is deadly, and he will punish you harshly for any mistakes that you make. That being said, he is the type of obnoxiously hard that you learn to appreciate in the series, and the amount of frustration you feel fighting him is worth the sense of accomplishment and reward you get for doing so. Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
The vampire wizard, the undead wizard and vampire queen stuff, so the whole part of up until this, when Bloodborne is a werewolf game,
mm-hmm.
The vampire stuff also kind of recalls that.
Yeah.
Like a different flavor of gothic horror.
Mm-hmm.
Or like an actual flavor of gothic horror. Like Dracula is gothic horror as fuck.
Yeah.
Clearly. As opposed to being... So it's not even just like something that stands out. It's actually something that recalls the early parts of the game. In a way.
Yeah. I don't know. It really does tie the loop around Bloodborne and Castlevania. People have been making Souls and Castlevania comparisons for a good long while, but Castlevania is kind of this grand tour of Universal movie monsters, to see that kind of represented here in this roundabout and kind of more erudite way, where they're saying okay, again, like we said in the main episode, here is this common set of things. What does this blood do to people and how the different societies react to it and how they manifest this? And it's all, different flavors of the same thing. That's incredibly evocative, especially as somebody who is given to the source material.
Yeah.
And I will round us out with Luke, who writes in via contact saying, a coach ride to Castle Cainhurst sets the area's tone perfectly. It's a set piece straight out of Coppola's Bram Stoker's Tyler Perry Presents Dracula, with the perfect Bloodborne dream logic twist for those who turn around to check out the horses on the road after they arrive. We're not in Yharnam anymore, and for a little while, it almost doesn't feel like we're in Bloodborne either. Gone are the werewolves of the opening section and the Lovecraftian horrors that we've just now started to see hints of. In their place are a number of other gothic horrors, all built around the central Soulsian theme of undeath. Then there's Annalise, a strange mirroring of Amelia. She's all aristocratic civility, glamoring you to bow, then calmly asking for blood. Her story is a horrific one when you stop to consider just how long she's been sitting there among the statues awaiting a vassal. It's a cruel fate, but then you get the sense that it was inevitable. The other Thumerian women of the house still stalk its halls screaming, and when she is pulped by nice guy Alfred, her remains shift and squirm, as unable to die as Logarius, who also seems denied the rest usually guaranteed by the title of martyr. The church have labeled her a vile blood, which is almost a compliment given what we know about them, and she admits to her attempt at birthing a cosmic horror, but I still wanted to side with her. The destruction of reality, the world awakening from this dream, is an understandable goal when your life is as nightmarish as hers. She's destined not to succeed, it seems, but perhaps she at least became a grandmother to the Great One, The theories linking Ariana to her dress, Ariana and her dress to the blonde baby in Annalise's portraits are correct. All in all, Cainhurst and its vampiric characters are strangely segregated from the rest of the game, but they provide a sharp relief to the goings-on of Yharnam, hinting at much larger histories and other thematic directions in which the series could one day go. This is Bloodborne doing what Dark Souls 2 did so well, telling a concise short story full of potent hints to other chapters that can only exist in your mind.
Yeah.
Very well put.
Yeah, well said.
Yeah.
I love a short story.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I don't love, because we were talking about optional areas in the game. Like, I love the optional areas in this game in general. Like, I really like Upper Cathedral Ward.
Yeah.
And that fills in a blank that I didn't know that I needed to have filled in the story. And that's kind of another way that like a disconnected area can really help. Like the Upper Cathedral Ward, you don't need to know what the choir are up to. And then when you find out, it's great.
Yep.
And that's really cool. But it's just going to be my favorite. Like, just give me my favorite thing, these short story things. Yeah. It's something like I was arguing on Slack with somebody about Fallout games, and something that I realized that Fallout does really well, and we talked about it when we did Fallout 2 for Watch Out for Fireballs, is that it has New Vegas or New Reno, which is its own little like miniature game. Yep. And then I realized that New Vegas does that incredibly well.
Yeah.
Like New Vegas is you get to an area, you find out about people. They ask you to, like, they're in an interesting situation. They ask you to do something interesting.
Yep.
And then it moves on. And sometimes it's connected and sometimes it's not. It is a collection of, like, miniature stories as well.
Yeah.
And, like, the best Obsidian Fallout games and even the earlier Fallout games, I feel, also do that.
Yeah.
It's a totally different, it couldn't be more different mechanically, but, like, they do a similar kind of thing. Like, tales from this area. This is a world. We've set up the rules for this world. How are different people dealing with the rules of this world? And what situations can arrive from the rules of this world. Yeah. And that's going to be my favorite thing, I think.
Agreed. Again, give me short stories.
Yep.
Give me 400
super
days.
Good.
Like, give me 400 days of everything.
Yeah, 400 days was great. Like, that was super cool. I like 400 days more than I like The Walking Dead Season 2. It is, I don't know, I dig that.
Yeah.
For sure. And I wish there was more games that do that.
Me too.
And people, there are some that, we mentioned and stuff, but if you are listening and there are games that we're like, this really does that, let us know, because I'm always curious to hear more. The other thing, too, is if you write in with responses, which if you have anything to say about the Lecture Hall or Nightmare Frontier 1, I keep calling it that, even though the other one is Nightmare of Mensis. Yep. Nightmare Frontier, you go ahead and hit us up at duckfeed.tv/contact. If we read everything we get. If we don't read your thing on the air, don't be offended. It's probably cut for time, or if it is stuff that we just, we don't have anything to add to. But please don't be offended if we don't. Yeah. It's just kind of, and then a way you can help your thing get read on the air is just to keep it terse. Say everything you need to say, but a good 3 paragraphs is good. Yeah. Anything more than that is pushing it. We read things that are longer than that from time to time, but it helps us out.
Yeah. And if your feelings are hurt, I am the one who reads these and edits them. So I also will edit longer responses down to make them fit. But sometimes we just we get stuff that isn't there, but understand that it is seen and considered.
Yeah, we still appreciate it and we still read it. Yeah. And if you just got to get that stuff out too, our social media stuff is a great place for it. So even if we don't read it on air, you can talk to us about that on Facebook and on our Slack channel and stuff. Yeah. And
write a blog post and link it to us.
Yeah, and we'll put shit in the show notes too. Like it is where we want everybody to, we're interested in what everybody has to say. Yeah. It's just sometimes airtime, and I understand some people could listen to this and be like, you guys are saying airtime is sparse or limited somehow, and you guys just talk about cum for 15 minutes in the middle of every episode. To which I say, like, what else are you going to do during the summer cum? Like, it is.
I mean, it's basically signed into law at this point.
Yeah, at this point, we've created a prison. Out of our past selves. Nope. Yeah, no. It wasn't going to be out of blood dregs. It was going to be out of our past selves. Okay. Like it's just like the Gary and Kole of yesterday are determining the Gary and Kole of tomorrow. Yep. When it comes to blood dregs,
we are our own wardens.
Yes. Yeah. Blood wardens.
Nice. Yeah. No, but we definitely do digress, and that's kind of during the main episode and a little bit during the extrasodes and stuff. It's just a matter of which responses are going to serve as the best kind of like springing off points for us. And and that is the metric that we're using.
Yeah. So again, you can reach out to us if you have anything to say about our next or upcoming areas at Duckfeed.tv/contact. Other than that, you know all the normal stuff to do. Patreon.com/DuckFeed.tv, our Facebook group, following us on Twitter, iTunes, ratings, reviews, blog post. All those things are great.
Yeah.
And we have some brief deleted scenes, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Umbasa.
Neil.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon.
Hello.
Dude, skinny Mario.
One more time?
Skinny Mario.
Yeah, right? Have you unlocked him?
I haven't unlocked him as a thing. I just randomly get skinny shrooms.
He's in the tutorial.
Huh.
You can do when I first booted up, they gave me a remix of the first level, and then Skinny Mario's there. But I haven't been able to. I just unlocked the first set of power-ups.
Yeah, me too.
So I don't know how those are being unlocked, whether it's based on playtime, which I think it said that, but then also some are coming Saturday.
Yes, I got a little dingus that said more coming on the 12th. So
yeah, and that's when water levels are coming and stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty rad.
Yep.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
I was looking for something to just immerse me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Corey.
That was very enthusiastic.
Hey, Corey, you're on the air with the Bonfire Boys.
Oh, these guys.
Yeah.
Is there a soundboard too?
Boing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I can't stop it, guys. It's broken.
Oh no!
I don't think that's the soundboard anymore, dude.
Let's get some noise reduction on that.
Now
Cole,
we just need to get you some probiotics or something.
Yeah.
Hello. Who is who here? Also, hey, what happened with the book, dude?
Book is still coming.
Yeah, but I saw you tweet that you lost progress on it today. Is everything cool?
Oh, no, that was a problem with temp files or something. I saved it on my laptop, a version of the file, and then when I went to open it, it was non-existent. My laptop is like a refurbished Ubuntu, there's a place in Portland called Free Geek that does, essentially
Linux
just
laptops.
Does all Linux laptops that are just and I just wanted something to take notes for in class and write in coffee shops, so I wasn't I wanted to spend about $100, and I got it. And something about the way that the version of OpenOffice that's on there works confused me or something. So I lost about a chapter on it that I wrote yesterday. It's a bummer. And then for Watch Out for Fireballs, we're doing King of Dragon Pass, and my save is corrupted in that game, and I put I'm almost done with it. So
That's
and it's just
a bummer. God, that game.
Yeah. I was talking to the developer on Twitter, and there's one little weird last ditch effort that I can try to make it work. But if that doesn't work, I don't know what I'm going to do, because I like that game, but I don't know if I have the heart to restart it.
It's brutal to have to go through and try to replicate that stuff. Every time you play it is going to be I think I've only completed it once, but every time I've started it, I feel like it's just a radically different game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Which is, part of that makes me want to, makes it better to replay it. But also I have, I'm also.
It's trying to restart a Civ 5 game right after you finish one.
Totally.
It's you know how long that's going to take you.
And I have this history in mind. I'm invested in my tribe. I formed a tribe and everything. I've got a bunch of clans. There's, I don't want to remember whether the Brown Bears or the Hill Havens are now my enemy. It's the fucking Stout Oaks. I hate those motherfuckers, and I want to keep hating them. And then the other thing is I'm having the slow dawning realization of all of the things attendant with my Kickstarter that I promised to do for money, that I need to really start cranking that stuff out.
Sure.
So I've got that a little bit of time panic going on.
Well, I backed the book. I'm super excited.
Thank you.
So,
thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
I can't wait to see what you do, man.
I'm really excited. I hope that it is. I hope not to disappoint people. I have a feeling of pressure, since this is the first solo project kind of thing I've done.
Sure.
Done like this. So, I hope that it is I think it's very funny. It makes me laugh. So I'm hoping that it will make other people laugh.
I think it'll be great.
That's my hope. And just to get Gary's bitching corner out of the way, I just came downstairs and changed my cat's cat litter, and I bought fancy cat litter because it's within walking distance, and he's eating it. So it's like based in corn or wheat or something like that, and he keeps eating it, and I can't stop him.
No.
And I can't explain to him why that's like profoundly wrong.
I think you could try. You consider maybe sitting him down and giving him a lecture.
I have been trying to explain it, and he's just the only thing that's worked so far is distracting him with treats.
Yeah, I have tried to lecture our cat here, and she doesn't give a fuck, and she's just like, "Why are you still here, human?" She loves my fiance. She hates me, and she has no interest. I feel that.
I feel like that's the cat equivalent of, well, the water in the top of the tank is perfectly fine to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I haven't pissed in this yet, but it's in a receptacle that I've pissed in for my entire life. So
yep.
It reminds me of in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory when he sits down during the song and eats that cup, or like picks up that flower,
like the tulip cup. Yeah,
it's just like that. But imagine it being a place where
like a toilet. Yeah. Making a toilet out of that tulip cup, and then just like Gene Wilder rising from the grave to take a bite.
Gene Wilder is not dead, Gary.
Like a fucking ghoulie. Oh, get out of town!
If you want a meow paradise.
No, Gene Wilder alive as fuck.
Oh, huh. You learn something new every day, I guess.
Yeah, he stopped acting.
We're off to a good start, guys.
I'll be sad the day that Gene Wilder dies. He's one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, he's charming. He's a charming man. Yeah.
Just killed him and brought him back to life for a joke.
Yeah. It sucks that he's constantly eating toilets, but other than that, he's a charming guy. Like,
it's increased his longevity, I think.
Yeah, that's his secret. It's what Richard Pryor didn't do, and that's why there's only one half of See No Evil left.